Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be responding to a comment made by a viewer against one of my videos. And the particular comment for this video goes as follows. I'm thinking of getting another hard side from Briggs and Riley on the medium check-in. What is your take on the Sympatico versus the baseline versions? I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things, whether you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, or you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying a better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality under the radar brands, then my content is geared towards you. I'm going to attach above a past video where I spoke in detail about Briggs and Riley as a brand alongside other luxury suitcase brands like Tumi and Samsonite, for example. And in that video, I spoke in detail about the baseline range and I spoke about all of the individual components because I wanted to give the viewer a really good understanding of just how high quality a product and the level of craft Briggs and Riley puts into each and every one of their products. And then I also mentioned in that video that I personally own a medium-sized check-in suitcase in the baseline range that I've been asked to talk about. So if you haven't watched this video, please do take a look at that video. I've attached it above for background because I'm not going to duplicate what I said in that video. I'm just going to work on the assumption everybody watching this video already knows the level of craft and quality associated with Briggs and Riley. And then throw into the equation Briggs and Riley, I also mentioned in that video, offers lifetime warranty on their products up until July 2022. They were the only brand in the market, but Remova now also offer lifetime warranty on their products. And I would expect that actually. I'm surprised they took so long considering the price of their products. So coming back to the baseline range, it comes in 4 different sizes. There is carry-on, medium, large, and extra large. Carry-on is £599, the medium £699, the large £749, and the extra large £849. I'm going to include just on the side information about the measurements of the medium-sized check-in as well as the weight of the suitcase. On the front of the suitcase, 90% of the suitcase in terms of the length and also the width of the suitcase, you have a zipped pocket on the medium-sized check-in suitcase. And then immediately behind that is a slip pocket that's also zipped. And then on the back of the suitcase, there is the handle that you use to pull the suitcase. It's attached alongside the suitcase. So it's 2 separate products. So you don't have the handle as an inbuilt handle into the suitcase, which is fantastic because it means the base, the compartment that's the biggest where you pack the majority of the stuff is entirely flat on the bottom. So anything you place in there will not crease at all, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then coming to the inside of the suitcase, one big cavernous compartment that is the majority of the carrying capacity, that is the base, and then the top, the flap, the cover of the suitcase, that has a much smaller carrying capacity. But the cavernous compartment also has a flap attached, which is adjustable. So essentially, once you finish packing, you can securely attach and tighten the attachment on top, and it ensures that everything that is packed just lies securely within the suitcase. Also in the base, you have a mechanism to be able to extend the suitcase on both sides of the suitcase. And you get an additional 9 centimeters of depth. And so once you finish packing, you can bring it down and then you have enough space. There isn't any excess space on top. And then you can close the suitcase or carry on packing on the other side. You also have the option to finish packing entirely and then close the suitcase and then to also be able to bring down the sides. And essentially what that means is it ensures whatever is in the suitcase is secured snugly. If you have bottles, perfume bottles, wine bottles, whatever you have in there that potentially could rattle around, move around, and you'd like to stay in place, bring the sides down. The other side of the suitcase, the other flap, you have a zipped compartment. On the front of that zipped compartment are 2 zipped pockets. In there you have a padlock to be able to secure the suitcase, and you also have a fairly thick, robust strap. It's a strap you can attach onto the suitcase, and then you can securely attach a backpack or another one of the suitcases within the range, and then you can just very comfortably pull it along as one solid unit. Open the full attachment, and you have, it comes out into a 3-part suit holder, or you can also place in there dresses as well. You can also remove the 3rd part. You're left with the 2 parts, and then you can place shirts, for example, whatever you would like in there, and then you close it, and it securely keeps whatever it is under the zipped compartment. So that is the baseline suitcase. Moving over to the Sympatico. The Sympatico range comes in 3 sizes: carry-on, medium and large. The carry-on is priced at £569, the medium £669, and the large £699. I'm going to include on this side the exact measurements of the medium-sized check-in as well as the weight of the suitcase. The Sympatico suitcase is made from polycarbonate, which is a thermoplastic, and it's an incredibly robust material. It is virtually unbreakable. It's literally bulletproof, and it's also a material that can withstand really, really high temperatures, so it's highly unlikely to melt or to deform. It would literally need to be placed in a burning furnace for an extended period of time to really get any damage to be done to the suitcase. Aesthetically, on the front of the Sympatico is just the polycarbonate. There isn't any features on the front. There isn't a pocket, for example. There isn't a slip pocket to place any items. It is just the polycarbonate front, the cover, the lid of the suitcase. Back of the suitcase is the handle, and the handle is actually inbuilt into the suitcase. So what that means from a practical point of view is when you are packing, the base of the bottom of the suitcase, where you have the majority of the carrying capacity, has the handles in it. So anything you place in there potentially could get creased, particularly if it's closed, or clothes or papers, for example. They could crease because you have influence of the handle on the underside of the suitcase. The configuration, identical to the baseline. You have the same situation as the baseline, where you have the bottle holder on the back of the carry-on suitcase, whereas the other 2 sizes don't have the little bottle attachment to the handle. And the configuration on the inside, exactly the same as well. There is the flap that you place on top of the items you've packed, and you can adjust that, you can tighten it to ensure everything is in place. You have the mechanisms to add the additional 9 centimeters of depth to the suitcase. And then on the other side, where you have the limited carrying capacity, is another zipped compartment, but it's actually just an empty shell. So you essentially have, same as the other suitcase, the 2 slip pockets on the front with the zips, and the suitcase actually comes with an inbuilt locking mechanism, so you don't get a padlock added to that. And then you have the zipped pockets, and then open the bigger compartment, and then you just have the space, an open space where you can place items in there and then secure it once you zip the flap closed. So that is the baseline in the Sympatico suitcases. Which one would I recommend? But it's a bit of a no-brainer, because the baseline suitcase is incredibly functional. It has absolutely everything you need. I particularly like the small size, the carry-on, and it's something I'm personally eyeing. Once I give away my small Samsonite, I don't see myself ever having any issues with it. It's something I use if I'm traveling somewhere for a couple of days, or if I'm flying. It's always as carry-on. Whenever they say, can we check it in, I absolutely refuse, because I keep my valuables in there. So it's a suitcase I envisage having for the rest of my life. But if I were to replace it, or I need a second carry-on, I will definitely go for the baseline, because it's incredibly functional. It has the additional pockets on the front. You have 2 pockets. And then I like the fact that the handle is separately attached on the back. So whatever you pack in the suitcase, is flat. You don't get any creasing at all. It does come with an additional padlock, which I found you always have to be mindful of when you're traveling. When you open it, where do you place it? Where do you keep it? You just have to ensure you pop it back into, I guess, the small slip pocket behind the bigger pocket on the front. You could place it in there. But if you do lose it, then you would have to replace that. That to me is the only real disadvantage, because the two are very different. But what I would say is the real difference is really the aesthetic. It's the carrying capacity. How much do you need? What do you like the look of, essentially? Because they're two very different types of suitcase. One is incredibly functional, considerably more functional than the other. The biggest difference, I think, would be more with the carry-on. One could actually double up as a mini suitcase, where you could place a lot more in there, and you could forgo possibly a medium-sized suitcase if you packed incredibly strategically. Whereas the carry-on polycarbonate, the Sympatico, you don't have a lot of space. You have what you have in the middle. You have the option to be able to extend to the additional 9 centimeters of depth, and then that's it. You don't have the additional carrying capacity. You also have the creasing that happens because of the inbuilt handle. But my money will always be on the Baseline suitcase, whether I'm comparing it to another range within Briggs and Riley or a different brand. It wins head and shoulders on the warranty, on the functionality, the performance, the durability. It is absolutely outstanding, and you truly get your money's worth when it comes to Briggs and Riley. If I haven't answered any question to my commenter who asked for my thoughts between Sympatico and Baseline, of course, please do let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to flesh out a response.